Monday morning yoga. Make sure this isn't so far away from me. Okay, we're gonna start lying down on your back, so go ahead and get comfortable. If you have anything going on in your lower back, it may be nicer to have your knees bent, feet out wide, knees knocked in towards one another will create a little bit more spaciousness through your lower spine. And then rest one hand on your heart, rest one hand on your belly, rest your head, close your eyes, rest your eyes. Imagine that the muscles that surround your eyes, those muscles that are so used to looking out at the world, are relaxing so that now we can start to look inside into the internal environment. And as we shift our awareness from the outside to the inside, we just start to feel the movement of the breath, indicating the movement of prana. So don't worry about the sequence just yet of how you're breathing. Just notice which hand is being filled and how much. Just observe your breath as it showed up today. And just take about a minute here to just feel your breath. And as you bring attention and awareness to your breath, notice how there are subtle changes. And then we'll just slowly start to manipulate the breath a little bit. So notice if you can fill up the breath into your belly first, filling that palm that's on your belly, and then allow the breath to fill the rest of the way into your chest and up on into your collarbones. And when you release the breath, see if you can release the breath first from the chest and lastly from the belly. So the breath starts to take on this somewhat oceanic, wave-like rhythm. Your breath remaining somewhat audible or becoming somewhat audible, you're thinking about dragging the breath across the back of your throat so that it makes that sound like the ocean, or almost like Darth Vader, except you keep your mouth closed. And then extend your arms out to the sides, and if your knees are not bent, bend your knees and take them out as wide as your yoga mat. And then just start to slowly windshield wiper your knees back and forth from side to side. I'm just going to do this a few times, just feeling the connection between the hips and the legs and the lower back. Finding a sense of fluidity as we move. And then bring your knees back to the center. Heel toe your feet together and bring your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. And there's a subtle stretch here in the lower back. So think about elongating your tailbone towards the front of your yoga mat so that you're not lifting your top of your butt up off of the floor. You're actually trying to put more of your back down onto the floor, and then gently start to rock your body from side to side. Just massaging those muscles that run alongside of the spine. Good. And then grab a hold of your strap. And take your strap, wrap it around both feet, and and extend both legs up towards the ceiling. And if that means that you're a little bit on an angle, that's okay. Just take a moment here and feel your lower back continuing to release. You might soften your knees a little bit and try to lengthen through the inseams of your legs, through the inner heels. Good, and then just slide your left foot out of the strap and slowly lower your left leg down to the mat. And if it's too much to keep that leg straight, you can always bend the knee, either way. And then take your right sitting bone and almost like you're trying to scrunch your right hip up towards your right waist. So you shorten the right side of your waist, and then we're gonna do the exact opposite. You're gonna move your right sitting bone towards the front of your mat, towards the arch of your left foot. Walk your hands up the strap until your arms are straight and your arm bones are plugged right into your shoulder sockets. And then spread out through all of your toes. So activate your foot. Stay with a steady, slow breath, moving that prana through this line that you can feel. Good, and then pass both sides of the strap into your right hand. Take your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Externally rotate your entire right leg in your hip socket and slowly let your right foot track out over your right shoulder. And so you make sure that your left hip is not coming along for the ride and you feel that stretch move more towards the inside of your right leg. And stay with your breath. Good, and then take your leg back up to the top, pass the strap into your left hand, extend your right arm out to the right, and take that leg across any amount. So you might stop where you feel the IT band stretching, or you might go all the way until you feel some of that stretch through your spine as well. Notice when the breath gets stuck. Our theme today is to keep that prana, that flow of intelligence, moving through the body by continuing to place our awareness on it. So we know that where we place our awareness is where our energy flows, and energy can carry healing, it can carry nutrition, it can carry intelligence. Good, so let's bring it back up into the top. Grab a hold of your strap with both hands and add your left leg back into the strap. So you have both legs now. Just notice how there might be a little bit of a difference in the sensation from side to side. Micro bend your knees again, but imagine that you are extending through the inseams of the legs. Engage Uddiyana Bandha, so you feel that little engagement to your low belly between your pubic bone and your navel. And then slide your right foot out of the strap and slowly lower it down. Remember, you can either bend the knee or keep your leg extended. If you keep your leg extended, just glance up and make sure that your right leg is in fact on the midline of your yoga mat, and then relax your head back down. Scrunch up the left side of your waist like you're trying to lift your hip all the way up into your ribs, and then do the exact opposite. So lengthen the left side of your pelvis away from you so that the left sitting bone starts to track more towards the arch of your right foot. Walk your hands up the strap as much as you can so your arms are straight, but your arm bones are plugged into your shoulder sockets, and spread out through your toes. So observe your toes and see if you can feel something in each and every toe. Awareness. Bring your right hand to the top of your right hip. Externally rotate your entire left thigh bone inside of your hip socket, and then track that left leg out and over your left shoulder. Be aware that your right hip is not coming along for the ride. We always have the opportunity in yoga to observe our breath and to observe what its tendencies are. Bring it back to the center, pass the strap into your right hand, extend your left arm out to the left, and slowly let that leg move towards the right. You can gaze towards the left, and any place where you feel there's a little bit of restriction, just stop and breathe there. And so without any attachment to necessarily going further, let your breath, let that intelligence, let your prana open things up from the inside out. and then slowly bring it back up to the top. Catch your strap with both hands. Now add your right leg to the strap and just observe how things may feel a little bit different than they did when we started, when we initially put both feet in the strap. Spread out through all of your toes. Imagine that you could put toe prints on the ceiling. So you're flexing your toes, but reaching through the arches. Good. And then you can bend your knees, move your strap aside. We will use it later, so keep it handy. Take one more moment to hug your knees in towards your chest. And then keep hugging your right knee. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Let it hover a couple of inches above the mat. Lift your head and your shoulders up. And then switch. Hug your left knee and extend your right leg out, keeping your right leg hovering a couple of inches. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, hug that right leg in, extend the left leg out. Exhale, hug your left leg in, extend your right leg out. One more time each. Inhale, right leg hugs in. You feel that gentle engagement to your belly muscles. They're not burning, but they're working. And exhale, hug the left knee in. Good. Hug both knees into your chest. Catch behind your hamstrings and start to rock up and down the length of your spine. And let's do this 3, 4, 5 times, trying to find the entire surface area of your back. So you give your entire back a massage. Good. And then eventually you roll yourself all the way up, coming into all fours, hands and knees. Taking a moment to set up your foundation, spreading your fingers out nice and wide, setting your knees up directly underneath your hips. Moving through a few rounds of cat and cow. So, thinking about lifting your tailbone up, reaching your chest forward, melting your belly button down. And as you exhale, thinking about drawing the belly button in towards the spine and filling up through the back of the lungs, spreading the shoulder blades apart from one another. And just start to close your eyes and let that movement and prana start to intersect with one another. Keeping your breath deep and full and trying to stretch the movement through the entire length of the breath. Good. And then find your way to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes under and hover your kneecaps 1/2 of an inch above your yoga mat. And then see if you can take cat and cow here. So you'll feel a little bit more work in your belly muscles. Keep those knees just 1/2 an inch away. And so you can really exaggerate the abdominal contraction, particularly when you come into cat pose. Let's just do one more. And then keeping your knees hovering, come back into that neutral spine position. Draw a line from your tailbone through the crown of your head. And then keeping your knees very bent, just start to press your chest backwards. Start to press your hips backwards. Take your hips back as far as you can with the knees bent. And then see if you can lift the sitting bones up a little bit higher so you feel the backs of your thighs yawning open. Roll your triceps under, press down into the inner part of your palms, and then release your heels down and let your head just dangle between your arms, and then rock your body a little bit from side to side, stretching into the left, stretching into the right. Good, and then once you've kind of shifted from one side to the other, find the center line. And as you find that center line, see if you can draw your pubic bone up higher, away from your shoulders. Press the front of your thighs towards the back of your thighs. And see if you can lift and spread your toes, even if your heels are not down. See if you can lift and spread your toes. And then reestablish the pressure into the inner part of your palm.
Think about lifting the underside of your forearms up away from your yoga mat so there's a sense of buoyancy in the wrists. And then on your next inhale breath, shift forward to the top of a push-up, stacking your shoulders above your wrists, feeling all four sides of the waist get nice and long, and reaching through the top of your skull. Engaging your belly muscles, thinking about buttoning your two frontal hip points in towards one another. Imagine you could squeeze a beach ball between your forearms, but at the same time, can you make your collarbones grow wider? Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, shift your hips back into a downward facing dog. Step your feet out as wide as your yoga mat and slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. Once you get there, you can place a soft bend in your knees, clasp your opposing elbows. Let the crown of your head magnetize down towards the earth and feel the heaviness of your arm bones helping to weight your torso down towards the floor. And then think about lifting the sides of the hips up higher. If you're feeling pretty good here, you can start to engage the quadricep muscles to lift up the kneecaps. You don't have to straighten the legs. It's more of a sensation of lifting up rather than pressing the kneecaps to straight. Good. Take a deep breath in and then open your mouth and lion's roar it out. Stretching your tongue and your jaw. You can do it one more time if you want to. If you missed it and you want to do it again. Good. And then place your hands down and slowly walk your hands forward into downward facing dog. But the intention here is to keep the weight back in the legs. So really keep pressing the front of the thigh bones towards the back of the thigh bones as you walk your arms forward. And then see if you can almost get a little bit lighter on your hands. Lift up the heel of your hand so that you're pressing a little bit more into your fingertips. And see if you can get a little bit more length through all four sides of the waist. Good. And then on your next inhale breath, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Heel toe your feet so that they are hip distance apart. And then without lifting your right leg at all, just point your right toe straight back behind you. So your leg is lifting off of the floor, but you're not lifting it up. You're just extending your toes so that you have those 3 points. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, draw your right knee in towards your chest. Pause right there. Push the floor away. Dome shape through your upper back. Find the work in your abdominals. Good. And then step your foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Good. Uncurl your toes. Walk your hands up onto the top of your right thigh. And then straighten your arms all the way so that you feel the front of your spine lengthening. Tailbone is long. Good. Reach your arms out to the side. Turn your biceps up towards the ceiling and slowly float your arms all the way up. And as you float your arms up, relax through your inner upper shoulders. Sharpen your arms, so roll those triceps towards the front, biceps towards the back. Take an inhale, look up at your palms, maybe join your palms. And as you exhale, bring your hands down on either side of your right foot. You can use blocks and shift your hips backwards into a hamstring stretch. And as you do, think about elongating your heart towards your big toe. Think about lengthening your hips back behind you. Take a few breaths. And then let's find our flow. So re-bend your right knee. Inhale, take the arms up. Feel all 4 sides of the torso get long. As you exhale, shift your hips backwards. Find that hamstring stretch. You're just following your breath here for 3 rounds. Inhale, stretch it out, stretch it up. Lift your chest. Exhale, straighten your leg. Fold forward, long spine. One more time, bend your knee. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the heart. Exhale, fold forward, fingertips to the floor. Good. Re-bend your right knee. Place your hands on either side, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up off of the mat, and slide your right leg straight back to meet your left. Take an inhale, feel the length of your spine. And as you exhale, imagine there's a little fire in your belly button. You're lifting your belly button up to contain that fire and lower yourself all the way down onto the floor. Good. Once you land on the floor, uncurl your toes. Press the pinky toenails down into the floor. Reach your arms back behind you. And then start to externally rotate your arms. So it's like your palms are opening up away from you. Your shoulder blades are drawing closer together. And as your pinkies spin down towards the floor, your thumbs open up, keep your gaze on the front of your mat. And then lift your legs up from the inner thigh side first. So the pinky toenails are still trying to reach down towards the floor as you stretch and elongate. See if you can lift your chest, your heart from the inside out. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, release it down. Place your hands next to the sides of your chest. Tuck your toes under. Take an inhale, engage your belly muscles, and as you exhale, press yourself back up into a plank pose. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, reach your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Just let everything stretch and lengthen. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose again. Feel the sides of the body nice and long. Just point your left toe straight back behind you. Feel that line of energy through your inner left leg all the way through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away and lift up, dome shape through your upper back. Good. Step your foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down, uncurl your toes. Walk your hands on top of your left thigh. And as you straighten your arms, think about lengthening the front of the spine. And reach your arms straight out towards the sides. Flip your biceps up towards the ceiling. And slow motion, as you lift your arms up, think about lifting the rib cage up off of the pelvis. Sharpen your arms so the triceps roll forward. It's almost like you're trying to spin your palms towards the back. You're feeling that stretch through your right hip flex. You can let your pelvis sink down a little bit more. Take an inhale, allow your palms to maybe join at the top. And as you exhale, straighten through your left leg. Bring your fingertips down to floor or blocks, elongating your chest forward. And observe how the sides are different. Keep trying to deepen the crease of your left hip. And then let's create our flow. So bend your left knee. Inhale, take your arms up. Lift the back ribs up towards your thumbs. As you exhale, shift your hips backwards. Find that hamstring stretch again. So this is all about the movement of prana. So notice the sensations. Inhale, take it up. Notice how you can really kind of direct each movement. Direct energy. One more time. You're really flowing at your own tempo here, your own pace. Good. And exhale. Finding your hamstring stretch. Good. Rebend your left knee. Place your hands on either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes under. And keeping your hips nice and low, slide your left foot back to meet your right. Now, already thinking about squeezing those inner thighs up towards the ceiling as you elongate the top of your sternum away from the bottom of your sternum. Look out over that imaginary cliff at the front edge of your mat. And with that little fire in your belly, lower your belly all the way down to the floor again. Uncurl your toes. Press the pinky toenails down into the floor. Reach your arms back. Palms are facing out to the sides. And as you imagine trying to bring the backs of your palms towards one another, think of your chest reaching forward and then up as you press the bottom tips of your shoulder blades towards the front of your body. Then float the legs up, keeping the pinky toenails angled down towards the floor. Find your breath here. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, bring it down. Place your hands alongside of your body. Tuck your toes under. Lift your kneecaps up off of the floor. Take an inhale. As you exhale, firm your abdominals in and press yourself back up to plank. Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Let every step be a meditation in how you feel the bottom of your foot connecting to the texture of your yoga mat. And then when you get to the top of your mat, separate your feet hips distance and release your spine down. Clasp your opposing elbows and try to make it the weird one, the one you wouldn't naturally do. And then gently just sway your body from side to side, thinking of releasing any tension at the lower spine. Feeling the top of your skull magnetize down towards the floor, lifting the sides of the hips up. Good, and then release your fingertips down, and as you inhale, draw your chest forward, feel the sides of your waist get long. As you exhale, fold back in. And then keeping your spine heavy, roll yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae and start to feel, you'll feel each vertebrae stack on top of the one below it. When you reach the top, roll your shoulders up, around to the back, and down. And then imagine you have a really tight coat, a winter coat, you're closing it. So you close the left and the right ribs in towards the center. Just take a moment here in mountain pose, set your drishti, your gaze. Good, and then on your inhale, circle your arms, reach up to the sky. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward, long spine. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold back down. Root down to rise up. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up to the sky. And as you exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms, reach up. Inner shoulders soft, sides of the body long. Exhale, fold forward, long spine. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, step your left foot to the back of the yoga mat, drop your left knee down, uncurl your toes. And as you inhale, circle your arms up to the sky. Let your pelvis sink down, look up. As you exhale, place your hands on either side of your right foot. Tuck your left toes under, pause in the low lunge. Feel as if you could pull the floor or the blocks backwards, reaching your chest forward. And then slide your right foot back to meet your left foot. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower your belly all the way down to the floor. Pull backwards on the yoga mat. Inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. Feel that inner thigh lifting towards the ceiling. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, push the floor away, and step your foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down, uncurl your toes, let your pelvis get heavy, and as you inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky. Feel all four sides of the rib cage lengthening. And as you exhale, bring your fingertips down, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and pause again in a low lunge, thinking about drawing your sternum forward. Good. And then step your right foot forward to meet your left. Inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, fold back down. As you inhale, circle the arms, reach all the way up to the sky. Feel like your body is a long cylinder. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale, circle the arms, reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward. Inhale, lift your chest. This time as you exhale, step your right foot to the back of the yoga mat. Keep your back knee lifted. So draw your outer left hip back, spin your right inner thigh up towards the sky. And imagine you have a dowel going through the center of your hips. Your hips are going to stay on that alignment. Take your right hand down to a block or to the inside of your right ankle. Take your left arm out to the left and slowly start to revolve your spine. So your belly button, the right side of your belly button is trying to look at your left inner thigh. You still have your hips on that dowel. And then keep reaching your left arm back behind you. Open your chest up towards the ceiling. Keep spinning your right inner thigh up towards the sky. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, circle that arm back down. Keeping your hips nice and low, slide your left foot back to meet your right. On your inhale, feel the length from the inseams of your ankles all the way through the crown of your head. Collarbones broad. As you exhale, lower your belly all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra again. So pull your yoga mat backwards, reach your sternum forward, then up. And as you exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg straight back behind you. Feel the inner thigh side of your right leg lifting. Keep the left hip pulling towards the midline. As you exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest, shifting forward, pause, push the floor away. Good, and then step your foot between your hands. So take a moment here, really find your alignment, drawing that right outer hip crease back. You might think about sliding your right foot backwards so you feel your hamstring engage. Spin your left inner thigh, find that dowel through the center of your hips, and then take your right arm straight out to the right, and slowly revolve the left side of your belly button to gaze at your right inner thigh. And notice if your hips went askew. Remember, you have that dowel stabilizing your hips. Continue to reach your right arm way back behind you, opening your chest up towards the ceiling. Good, and then slowly circle your right arm back down. Pause right here in the long lunge. Feel the length of your body. And then step your left foot forward to meet your right. As you inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold back in. On your inhale, circle the arms. Reach all the way up to the sky. Feel the sides of your body grow long. And as you exhale, hands to your heart. Surya Namaskar A, only one round. Inhale, circle and rise. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold it forward. As you inhale, lift and lengthen through your chest. As you exhale, step back. If you're jumping back, you land with your elbows bent in Chaturanga. If you want to take upward facing dog at this time, make sure that as you take upward facing dog, you're trying to pull your hands backwards, lengthening through the inseams of the arms and reaching the center of the sternum forward. Gorgeous. Nice, Sharon. As you exhale, take your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment just to feel the ground underneath you and to feel that flow of prana. Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you feel your arms continuing to lengthen, continuing to engage? It's like you have ribbons wrapped around your arms. So from the inner part of the palms to the outer part of the forearms, outer arms squeezing in, shoulder blades broadening. Inhale your right leg straight back behind you. And as you exhale, slowly curl your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away. Dome shape through your upper back. Find your abdominals. And then step your foot between your hands. So you're going to bring your right hand to your right hip crease, and you're going to encourage that right hip crease to move back. Then you're going to reach your left arm forward. So as you reach your left arm forward, spin the left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Good, and then reach the right arm straight back behind you. So it's like you're spreading your fingertips, left hand reaching forward, right arm reaching backward. Good, swoop your right arm forward, hook your thumbs together, right thumb on top of the left. And keeping that midline, slowly inhale and float it up into a crescent pose with your thumbs hooked together. Place a generous bend in your back knee. Think about lifting your frontal hip points up towards your belly button and roll your triceps towards the front of the room as you soften through your inner upper shoulders. Good, and then start to straighten that left leg any amount that you can maintain the upright shape of your pelvis. Good, And then separate your thumbs, cactus your elbows without changing the shape of your pelvis. So make sure you don't stick your ribs out. And then draw your elbows and your forearms back, but try to lift your chest up a little bit more. And then maintaining that lift of the chest, draw your palms together up above you again. And as you exhale, bring your hands down. Step it back and take it through your vinyasa. Nice and slow. And as you feel the movement of your attention, your awareness, you direct the flow of prana. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, slowly shift forward. Keep pushing the floor away, knee to chest. And then step your foot between your hands. Draw your left thumb to your left hip crease. Encourage that left hip crease to move back. Track your left knee over the center of your left foot and stretch your right arm forward as you engage and spin that right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Then reach your left arm straight back behind you without letting the hips swivel forward. Good. Swoop your left arm forward, hook your left thumb on top of your right thumb. And using your core and pressing through the heel of your left foot, rise up into that crescent pose. Good. Place that generous bend in your back knee. See if you can get the front of your pelvis to lift a little bit more. And then start to straighten that back leg. At the same time, you're rolling your triceps towards the frontal room. Good. All four sides of the torso are even in length, equal in length. Bend your elbows like cactus. Draw your forearms and your elbows backwards. And then see if you can press the bottom tips of your shoulder blades up into your chest. Good. And then re-extend your arms. Join the palms at the top, look up. And as you exhale, bring your hands down. Step your left foot back to meet your right. And take it through your vinyasa. As you find your way back to downward facing dog, find your breath. Notice how your body is starting to feel a little bit more pliable. You can feel that movement of breath and energy, how it starts to make us feel just a little bit more malleable, just a little bit more flexible, just a little bit more space in the body. At the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward. Step walk or jump to the top of your mat if you jump land soft. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold back down. Bend your knees, circle your arms, Utkatasana chair pose. So fierce pose, you're reaching your arms away from your sitting bones. Shift your hips backwards a little bit more, but engage Uddiyana Bandha, the low belly. And reach vigorously through your arms. Beautiful. Good. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, sweep your arms backwards, lift up onto the balls of your feet. Find that balance. And as you inhale, drop your heels, swoop your arms back up to the sky, engaging through your low belly. Good. Exhale, swoop your arms back, lift up onto the balls of your feet. And then staying on the balls of your feet, circle your arms and try to come all the way up. Staying on the balls of the feet. Spin your inner thighs towards the back. Spin your triceps towards the front. Relax through your inner upper shoulders. Good. And then slowly lower your heels and bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. Bend your knees. Circle the arms. Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, fold forward and straighten the legs. As you inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, make your way back through a vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Step your right foot between your hands. Seal your left foot on its edge. Line up, heel toe your right foot to the right a little bit, so you're a little bit wider than heel to heel alignment. And then track your right knee over the center center of your right foot. Inhale, rise up into warrior one, and then straighten your front leg half of the way. So it's not all the way straight. Spin your left inner thigh towards the back wall. Notice how you can get a little bit further there. And then rebend your right knee as you ground into the outer edge of your left foot. Good. So you're trying to square the hips towards the front. They're unlikely going to get all the way square, but that's kind of the direction that we're going in. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Heel toe your right foot towards the left a little bit. Let the angle of your left foot open up so it's 10 to 15 degrees, and stretch your arms open for Virabhadrasana 2. So glance at your right knee, make sure it's still tracking over the center of your right foot. Find your drishti, find your gaze. And as you feel the weight of your pelvis as the grounding force, feel the length of your torso. Your rib cage and the skull are stacking above the center of the pelvis. Good. And then on your inhale breath, straighten your right leg, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, allow your pelvis to start to tilt as you reach your right arm forward. Get as long as you can through the right side of your body. And then bring your right hand down to the floor, a block, or your shin. And roll your chest open for Trikonasana. And as you come into Trikonasana, think about turning your outer left hip down towards the floor so that your right sitting bone can track a little bit more towards the arch of your left foot. Turn your palm to face behind you. Drop your left hand behind your back. Maybe find that hip crease and try to roll that left shoulder open on top of the right. Breathe here. And so as you press into the mound of your right big toe, it's almost as if you get a little lighter on your heel, so that will take any hyperextension out of your right knee. Good, and then start to bend your right knee. Walk your block about 8 inches forward of your pinky toe. And rise up into Ardha Chandrasana with your hand behind your back. So the left shoulder stacking on top of the right. Imagine you could turn your left toes down and in a little bit more, so you feel a sharpening to the thigh bone inside of your hip socket. Your right outer hip crease draws towards the back. Good, and then extend your left arm up towards the ceiling. Get super long from the right fingertips through the left fingertips. And slowly revolve your left hand down. Bend your right knee, look back at your left leg, and revolve your left toes down towards the floor. So your right knee is bent here. Your fingertips are on the floor or on blocks. You're coming into a supported warrior 3. That back leg is super active. And then start to bend your right knee. And you're gonna land your left foot about 1/3 of the way back. Walk your fingertips back, pyramid pose here. I'm getting one more stretch to the hamstring. Good. And then we're just gonna walk the hands towards the left. Pivot the feet so we're facing the long edge of the yoga mat. And allow your spine to release down. So the heart is above the head. If you'd like to flip upside down and do a headstand here, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, just think about the engagement to the legs, the inner thighs lifting up into the pelvic floor. If you've gone upside down, come back and join us. Good, and then inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, walk your hands back in front of your right leg. Bend down into that low lunge, letting your hips get heavy. And then root the hands down and keeping your hips nice and low, slide your right foot back to meet your left. And take it through a vinyasa if you need that little cleanse. Step your left foot forward without lifting your leg. Seal the outer edge of your right foot down. Heel toe your left foot to the left a little bit. And then tracking your left knee right over the center of your left foot, inhale and rise up to warrior one. So straighten your left leg about halfway and spin that right inner thigh towards the back, lifting up through your pubic bone. And then bend the left knee just a little bit more as you keep lifting up through the thumb side of your hand a little bit more vigorously. Relax your inner upper shoulders and feel as if your arms were connected to the sides of your waist. Good. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Heel toe your left foot to the right a little bit. And open up your arms into warrior two. And just find the root. Find the base of your pelvis. And draw that line through the center of the ribcage, through the center of the skull. Feel your arms extending super long. Make sure your left knee is still tracking over the center of the left foot. And as you inhale, straighten the left leg, take the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, allow your pelvis to tilt. So your pelvis is going to revolve over that left thigh. Lengthen out through the left side of your body. And take your hand down to your shin, the floor, or a block, and revolve your chest open. And then try to turn that right top hip down towards the floor a little bit more, which will send your right inner thigh backwards and track that left sitting bone towards the arch of your right foot. Then turn your right palm to face behind you and drop your hand behind your back, maybe finding your hip crease, rolling the right shoulder on top of the left. Don't lose the length through the left side of the body. And make sure you're pressing into the ball mound of your left toe and getting a little lighter perhaps onto your heel. Good, and then start to bend the left knee. Take your block 8 inches forward of your pinky toe. You can slide that back foot in a little bit if you need to start, and then slowly float your right leg up. And again, try to turn those right toes down a little bit more towards the floor so you feel your outer left hip moving towards the midline. Check in with your rib cage. Notice if you're splaying your ribs. Try to create length on all 4 sides. And once you have that, extend your right arm up towards the sky, fully expressing your half moon pose. Thinking of that stirrup on the left leg. Take one more inhale. Slowly revolve your right hand down. Bend your left knee and watch your right leg revolve until all 5 of your toes are pointing down towards your yoga mat. Your right inner thigh spinning up towards the ceiling. And you can keep that left knee bent as you fully engage through that right leg. Good, and slowly start to bend your left knee. Reach your right leg back behind you. Land about 1/3 of the way back. And as you straighten into your left leg, same thing. You're pressing into that ball mound. And breathing into wherever you feel the sensation. Pyramid pose. Good, and then walk your hands towards the right. Pivot your feet so you're facing the opposite wide edge of your yoga mat. And let your spine release down towards the floor. And again, if you'd like to go upside down here, the point here is just that we get our heart above our head. Keep engaging through your inner legs. Good. And then if you're upside down, come back. Press your hands into the floor. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, walk your hands back to your left leg again. Drop down into that low lunge. Good. And then you can take it through a vinyasa or make your way back into downward facing dog. As you come into the downward facing dog, see if you can feel the yoga mat, the texture, more so underneath your fingers than underneath your palm. In fact, in the center of your palm, you can imagine a suction cup, lifting the energy up from the earth to energize and nourish all the way up into your shoulder blades and the container for your heart. And then at the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold back down. Bend your knees, circle your arms, Utkatasana chair pose, and you feel that lengthening through the front of the spine. Bisect the midline of your body with your palms and twist your left elbow over. You can either hook your left elbow to the inside of your left thigh, get that length, or if you're feeling pretty flexible, to the outside of your right thigh. Imagine you could pull your arms backwards so that you feel the left side of your body elongate and spiral. Deep, full breath. If you want second stage, the left arm can reach down, the right arm can reach up to the sky. Turn the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling. Good. And then just fold forward. Heel toe your feet so that they are hip distance apart. Catch a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers as you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And as you exhale, bend your elbows out towards the sides. Release your shoulders away from your ears. And lift the sides of the hips up a little bit taller. Good. And release your big toes. Heel toe your feet back together again. And on your inhale, bend your knees. Circle the arms. Utkatasana chair pose. As you exhale, bisect the midline of your body and decide. You could take a gentle twist. You're going to keep your hips right on the midline of your mat. Make sure they don't swivel. You could hook to the inside of your right inner thigh or the outside of your left thigh. And then pull your palms backwards. Reach your chest forward. And if you'd like to take second stage, right arm reaches down, left arm lifts up to the ceiling. And then slowly release it down. Separate your feet again, hips distance. Keep your knees bent for now. Slide the palms of your hands underneath the soles of your feet. Bring your toes right up to your wrist creases. And then press down through the balls of your feet to lift up through the sides of the hips and relax your shoulders. Relax the top of your skull down. Great. Slide your hands out from underneath. Heel toe your feet back together again. Bend your knees. Circle your arms. Utkatasana chair pose. And then lift up onto your tippy toes here. And then think about lifting straight up like there's a thread pulling through the crown of your head. You stay on the balls of your feet. You spin your inner thighs back. You spin your triceps forward. And as you exhale, let your heels come down. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. Okay. And then grab a hold of your strap. So we've done a lot of hamstring work today. We're going to shift the weight onto the right foot. How did my strap get in a knot? You're going to take your strap around the center of your left foot and keep it nice and low for now, yeah? Your arms are straight. You're going to slowly start to walk your hands up the strap any amount. Keep spinning your right inner thigh towards the back wall, your standing leg. And then make sure you're not going water skiing. So lift up, stack your rib cage right above your pelvis, stack the crown of your head right above the center of your pelvis. And lengthen out through the inseam of your right leg. Bring your right hand, your left leg, bring your right hand to your right hip and slowly start to take your left leg out towards the left. These look great, you guys. Nice story. And then reach your right arm out to the right. Continue to roll your left sitting bone underneath you. Good, and then bring it back to the center. Pass the strap to your right hand and reach your left arm back behind you. Maybe your gaze can follow that hand. Find your breath. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Bring it back to the center. Try to keep your leg at the same height. Lift your arms to the sky. Good. Nice pause. And slowly release it down. Shake it out if you need to. Find your strap again. Shift your weight onto your left. Wrap the strap around the center of your right foot. And take a moment here when your leg is nice and low to establish your line. Nothing's going to change in your upper body. Your leg is just going to start to lift. Continue to grow taller. Continue to spin your left inner thigh towards the back wall. Good, and then bring your left hand to your left hip and slowly take your right leg out towards the right. And maybe even reach your left arm out towards the left. And find your breath. Good, bring it back to the center. Switch hands. And maybe you stretch that right arm back behind you and let your gaze perhaps follow that arm. Keep grounding down through your left foot. Keep lifting up through the crown of your head. Good. Swoop your arm through. Catch your strap again. And then try to maintain your leg at the same height. Take your arms to the sky. And slowly release it down. Beautiful, you guys. So come up to the front of your mat. Bend your knees, circle your arms, Utkatasana chair pose. And then just sit all the way down. Take your legs up, Navasana. Just a brief roll through Navasana here. Extend your arms out in front of you. Scoop out your low belly. Try to straighten your legs any amount. On your next inhale, lower halfway down, Ardha Navasana. Scooping out the low belly. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Relax your head down. Take a few rounds of breath here. Good, and then rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. More than once. Good, and you come to a cross-legged position with your right shin crossed in front of your left shin. Try to stack your knees directly in front of your hips. So we're going to do Sukhasana, easy pose. Take your arms up to the sky and actually turn to the side view. And I want you guys to think of a long spine. So without bringing any rounding to your spine, can you elongate your spine out over? Bring your fingertips down to the floor. And imagine you could pull the floor backwards with your fingertips so you could reach your chest a little bit longer. And then eventually you just let your spine release down over your legs. And so the pelvis is revolved over the thighs, so our sitting bones are pointing kind of back behind us now on that diagonal. Good. Walk your fingertips back in. Extend your legs out in front of you. Bring your hands behind you. And then keeping your legs down, just lift your chest up towards the sky. Broadening your collarbones as if they were smiling. Good. And then release and cross your left shin in front of your right shin. Line your knees up right in front of your hips so they're crossed more towards the center of your shins than you might think. And elevate your arms up to the ceiling. And then maintaining that slight curvature in your lower back. Start to lengthen your spine forward. You feel your pelvis revolving. Then bring your fingertips down. Pull backwards on the floor to get a little bit more length out of the spine. And then eventually just let your spine release down over your legs. Come back to the flow of prana, moving through you. That's principle of intelligence. Good, and then slowly walk your hands back in. Extend your arms out in behind, and the legs out in front of you. Your arms behind you again, and start to lift your chest.
if you want a little bit more, you can lift your hips up off of the floor and try to press your shoulder blades up into your chest. Let your head drop back. Good. And then lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Bend your knees. Reach your arms out in front of you and slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down to the floor. Extend your arms back behind you. Step your feet in so that your heels are in line with your sitting bones. And as you reach and stretch through your fingertips, you feel your back ribs getting a little closer to the floor, your front ribs hugging in a little bit more. Bring your hands down by your sides. On your next inhale breath, lift the hips, reach the arms back again. Lengthen the tailbone, spin the inner thighs down. And as you exhale, lower the arms and lower the hips at the same time. One more time, inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms back, scoop out the belly, reach the tailbone towards the heels. And as you exhale, release it back down. Good, now just lift the hips up. Make robot arms. And as you press the triceps down, see if you can lift the hips a little higher. Maybe you walk your hands to your lower back if it's available. If that feels crazy, don't do it. Just keep pressing the backs of the arms down. You can always slide a block underneath your lower back if you wanted to. Good, and then whatever you have, just slowly let it come down. Extend the arms out to the side, cross the right thigh bone over the left thigh bone, and as you gaze towards the right, let the knees fall down towards the left. Good, bring it back to the center. Switch the cross of your legs. As you shimmy your hips over to the left, let your knees descend towards the right. Gazing towards the left. Good, and then slowly bringing it back to the center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Take a deep breath here. Fill yourself with that prana. And as you exhale, relax your body into your final resting position and imagine that prana is distributing from the center of your body all the way out through these open channels. So when we move and breathe, we create movement through the channels of our body, and that movement is like the natural flow of intelligence, right? The river knows which direction to flow in. If we clear the debris, the water will flow smoothly. So it's like the same thing in our bodies. So let's all just take a deep breath in here and just feel the fullness of your lungs, feel the sensation of prana filling you. And as you exhale, fully surrender and release, letting the prana move through these channels without any, really direction. Let your mind relax. Let your facial muscles soften. Let yourself be fully here and present now, this moment. This moment. This moment. your body, however feels good. Maybe you stretch your arms to the ceiling, maybe you stretch them back behind you, maybe you reach through your heels, maybe you invert your palms. And then bend your knees and roll over onto one side. Press yourself to a seated position.
And as you come into that seated position, bring your hands together in front of your heart. And as we honor the flow of prana, that natural force of intelligence that has kept us alive, thriving, and healing all of this time, just come into a place of gratitude. How much fullness of life we have already experienced and we continue to experience. We honor our health. We honor the health of one another. As we pay attention to it, we strengthen it. Slowly allow your eyes to open. Namaste.